My grandparents were born in Baghdad, Iraq. I'm a Jew, and so are they. And for that reason, you think that makes me an Arab Jew. I'm here to tell you why I'm not. Welcome, guys, to the middle of the desert. I've been hiking here for the last 3 days without food, without water. I think I lost my way. Oh, wait. Oh, I'm just in Khulon, never mind. This is an old part of Khulon. The part that, when my grandparents made it to Israel from Iraq, this is the environment that they cultivated to create the beautiful cities that are in the surrounding here. So the other day, I was editing when I got a random text from a good friend of mine on YouTube. His name is Corey. He's the owner of the channel called the Ask Project, where he asks Israelis and Palestinians across Israeli territory and Palestinian territory questions about life here. And he texted me, he said, you should make a video called I'm an Arab Jew. It's been a while since I've done any sort of trekking through shrubbery like this. I love the nature in Israel, man. It is amazing. There's no place I feel more connected to. Hey, look at this. We even have a sign here in the middle. Sand gerbil. Jelbil Cholot. We're looking for gerbil. Sand gerbils. Sorry, keep an eye out. Arabs have been a group of people for a very long time. Stemming originally from the Arabian Peninsula, they have spread out and colonized, like many other groups of people, large swaths of land. Most of that colonization took place in the name of the religion of Islam. Now wait, this might trigger a lot of people, so just calm yourself down for one moment. I have every right to speak about this. Being a person whose family stems from Iraq, Kurdistan, Turkey, and the Georgia sort of Armenia Caucasus Mountains area, my family history, just one generation set apart from me, has dealt with nothing but strife, religious persecution, and ethnic cleansing. I have first-hand experiences from both my parents and my grandparents and my great-grandparents, documented, written down, and photographed, of how in the name of Islam and in the name of being an Arab, we, Jews from across the Middle East, were ethnically cleansed from the places we come from. So if you're going to come here and leave a negative comment immediately, or you want to click off the video, all I say is give me a few minutes to explain to you my points, and please respect my family's history and what my forefathers went through to bring me to a place where I have freedom, rights, and can exist freely as a Jew in this world. Let's talk about why you might consider me an Arab or a descendant of Arab people. So my family, let's talk about my mom's side of the family, stems from Iraq, from Baghdad, right? The average person nowadays considers Baghdad Arabian land, right? It's part of the sort of the Arab flow. It's part of the Arab world. This is made up of 30 plus countries that fluently speak Arabic and have Islam as the majority religion. My family was brought up in that world, right? They were born in Baghdad. My great uncles, my great aunts, my grandparents, they grew up speaking Arabic. They ate Arab Iraqi food and they engaged in the culture. They sang Arabic style music. So by all intents and purposes, you would say those people are Arabs, right? My grandma, till this day, still speaks Arabic. Granted, an Iraqi Jewish dialect of Arabic, but Arabic. And for the most important part, which always matters in the Western sort of narrative of things, my family is brown-skinned. We all look like this. So it's very easy to say, no, that's an Arab. You're just an Arab Jew, right? You're Arab by ethnicity, and your religion is Judaism. A few years ago when I was here in Israel, I interviewed the eldest brother of my grandpa's family. He again came from a group of Jews who were born into Baghdad, right? I asked him, what is our history? You know, when my grandpa was still alive, I used to interview him all the time about life in Iraq. But I never really got a clear answer of what was the narrative within our family. What did your family tell you as you were growing up? And so he told me this. Throughout our family history, we had believed that we came from the diaspora of the destruction of the first temple in the old city of Jerusalem. And when the Babylonians came and took Jews out of Jerusalem into exile and into slavery, into the Babylonian kingdom, that's when we ended up in Babylon. He told me that we had been living in Bavel, in Babylon, which is now Iraq, modern-day Iraq, for the last 2,000 years. But no matter what, every single year and through every family gathering and every single holiday, they would always say B'Shana Abba B'Yerushalayim, which is a common Jewish saying, which means next year in Jerusalem. Our hope is that for the next year, we'll be able to spend this holiday, this gathering, this day in Jerusalem, where we're from. Can I verify through his DNA, can I verify with video documented evidence that for 2,000 years, my grandpa's brother, believed that we had been in Babylon, in exile of Israel, of our homeland. No. But what I can is look at their lives. During their time in Iraq, they spoke a specific Jewish Iraqi dialect, which actually has a lot of Hebrew words thrown into it. The foods that they ate, because of their kashrut, were different and still pass along till this day as a specific Jewish Iraqi cuisine. And for the most part, they never properly assimilated. Now, there's going to be a parallel to this in Europe that we'll talk about shortly. But when you look at Iraqi Jewry, while they did get involved in political affairs, in jewelry, in finance, and whatever, they always, to the status of Iraqi people, were Jews. They were always Jewish people. While they could have spoken Arabic, they could have been involved in every aspect of Iraqi Arab, Muslim, Christian life, they were always seen as Jews first. And that's exactly the same experience that European Jewry before the Holocaust experienced as well. They could have been the most European, born German for generations on generations, but at the end of the day, they were still a Jew. Now, what does that mean? Because of the creation of the religions of Christianity and Islam, people believe that those lines of divinity relate to Judaism as well. Now, that partly has to blame with the Jews as well, because we've built walls upon ourselves to make ourselves seem like an organized religion, the same way that Christianity and Islam are. But if you look at what Judaism is, the religious beliefs are so connected to the land of Israel. So it doesn't matter where you are as a Jew, forever to the outside world, you will be seen as a Jew. Let's say there's a huge population of Ashkenazi Jews that's born in New York City. The most secular Ashkenazi Jew, let's say born in Midtown Manhattan, has no connection to the religion, has never been bar mitzvahed, which is something that we do at the age of 13, doesn't keep kosher, hasn't ever been to a synagogue, doesn't speak Hebrew, just has a Jewish name, let's say. In the United States of America, you'll never be seen as a local, as a native, because you're not Native American. You're not indigenous to that land. So let's say his ancestry stems to Europe, somewhere in Germany. To the rest of the European world, you'll never be Germanic because you weren't Germanic. Your ancestors probably read from the Torah, which is a biblical book documenting the story of the Jewish or the Israelite people. And you lived in communities of Jewish people. So nobody in Germany or Poland or France or Spain would consider you ethnically European. You came from somewhere else. And this has been proven to us Jewish people through all the genocides that we've been through and the ethnic cleansing that we've been through. The outside world has shown us how much of what we are not to make us believe what we actually are. So if a Jew of European ancestry is not really European, why would a Jew born in an Arab country be considered an Arab? Because during the Iraqi Farhud, Arab Muslims who ethnically cleansed Jews from Baghdad tried to murder, rape, and pillage, steal from, and displace as many Jewish residents of Iraq they could. In those moments, Iraqi Jews were no longer Arab. They were something else. And the same case goes for Jews in Iran and in Morocco, Libya, Algeria, Tunisia, Egypt, Lebanon, Syria. These were communities of Jewish people that have lived in those lands way before the advent of Islam was even created, way before Christianity even came about. But in those moments, the locals, the people who had nothing but hate in their hearts towards Jewish people, showed us, the Jewish community, why we were not them, why we are very much so our own thing, our own unique group of people. Now, I don't say all this is a sob story. I don't need your sympathy. I don't want your sympathy. I tell you guys this because I feel like this story isn't told enough. My ancestors' experiences of racism and ethnic cleansing onto them and their community are so very real, and they're only one generation removed from me. And my parents, the ones born here in Israel to a world of freedom, have been nothing but persecuted their entire lives. From the day that my parents were born here in Israel, they've dealt with rocket fire, suicide bombings, explosions, terrorism, in the name of getting rid of Jews from this planet. And this is one other point I want to add that a lot of people don't talk about. I've got a list here because it's genuinely too hard to remember. But may I remind you that the ethnic people, the original people of Iraq were not Arabs. They were Mandeans, they were Babylonians. They were a group of people with their own religious groups, with their own cultural experiences, with their own religions, with their own cuisines. Just to name a few across the Middle East, we had the Maronites, Armenians who are still alive, the Assyrians, Cypriots, the Chaldeans, the Druze, the Persians, the Samaritans, the Nubians, the Copts in Egypt, the Amazigh, the Berbers, and so many more. Like the United States of America, the country that I was born in, had many groups of Native American tribes and indigenous peoples who battled each other with full history, religion, cuisine, and then colonization happened. We acknowledge that in the world today. We acknowledge that Europeans colonized the United States of America. We acknowledge that the Spanish colonized South America. We acknowledge that Europeans colonized Australia and New Zealand from the indigenous people that lived there before. The flags that many of you guys see around Arab countries like Jordan have 4 colors in them. It's called the Pan-Arab flag. They mark the colors of the different Islamic dynasties that conquested across the Middle East and also took part and colonized the land of Israel. This would be the same as the colors that you see on the USA flag, the Union Jack from the UK, the Australian flag, the New Zealand flag, being implemented on many, many nations around the world. There are so many people who call those things out. That flag is not representative of my ethnic minority. Why in the Iraqi flag today is there no representation of Jewish people? Only the Islamic caliphates that ruled and conquested there before. Why are the Mandean people, who are some of the original ethnic people of Iraq, not honored in the flag of Iraq? Same goes for the Jordanian flag. Why are none of the ancient Jews that existed in Jordan not honored in their flag? I highly suggest that after this video, you take a moment on the internet to Google and read a little bit about Arabization and Islamization of the Middle East and North Africa. Why do we as people call out one colonization but not the other? Why? I could ask that question from day in to day out, but the answer always remains to be that we were never Arab. It's hard for me to walk around and honorably take on the title of an Arab when my family was persecuted in spite of the fact that they were not Arab. My history is from here. It's from the land of Israel. And to the day that I die, I will never, ever be anything else. I'll never be an Arab. Not to the Arabs around the world, and not to me. And I think there's something very beautiful about that. I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you long time.